But you certainly can't deny that under the current conditions of the past couple of years that somebody's not operating in the best interest of the United States at this point.
No, they're basically, by doing all of this, all of it, having a secret court, making secret decisions about what is and what isn't constitutional, and what is legal and what isn't legal, in secret, with committees that don't talk to anybody or don't tell the rest of Congress the truth about things, or the courts that don't even share information among each other. I mean, you know, the FISA court is not an Article 3 court. It's an Article 2 court because, in fact, Article 3 courts have to have opposing opinions, where the judge would come in and under the law and the Constitution he would make decisions on adjudicating the issue between the parties. That's an Article 3 court. An Article 2 court, which is the FISA court, has only one side. That's the government. It doesn't hear any opposing opinions. So it only gets that one view. And it's housed in the 6th floor of the Department of Justice, and therefore is all done in secret. So my point is that that's not an Article 3 court. It's Article 2 court. It works for the administration, not the judiciary.
Well, yeah, but certainly my concern is I think even greater concern is the disregard for the rule of law at this point. It's just becoming so blatant.
This is what I was getting at. I call this a covert government. We have a covert government. It's doing what it wants, and basically when Reagan used to say we are a country with a government, I think we've become a government with a country.
How can we, is it possible to create an effective firewall to keep the overwhelming power and to a certain degree necessary secrecy of intelligence operations from being co-opted by the political component, and so that is turned against the people instead of operating for their benefit?
Well, I think it is, but you have to do it. You have to do it with things like term limits and like rotation of people in the technical team doing the verification process. You can't keep people in those positions for long periods of time because that tends to skew their views in one way or the other. You need to rotate them.
Politically speaking, or the technical people?
All of them. you can't. I mean, that's part of the problem is we've got these perpetual politicians down there. That's all they do. I mean, they're down there all the time. Well, I mean, that corrupts their mind. They tend to think they know better. Well, there's no fresh idea, no new thinking there. It's entrenchment.
And it becomes incestuous.
Yeah. So I'm all for term limits. Is what I'm saying. Term limits, both for technical. In fact, if I had my way, I'd rather randomly pick from the phone book like you do with jury duty, and send people down there every 2 years. And you know you're there for 2 years. At least you get a group of people that would be primarily, mostly honest. Most of them would know how to run a budget, you know, and most of them would try to do the right thing. Right. So, you know, I think that would be certainly no worse than what we have now. It would be a lot better.
Right. That's a good idea.
And that way we'd eliminate, and I would bar lobbyists from entering the Senate and House buildings. I would bar them so that you wouldn't be influenced by outside forces like that. You know, because I think they have undue influence right now.
Of the Snowden data, I guess, what do you think is going to hurt the most?
Well, I think the thing that's hurting the most is U.S. companies are getting hurt by this, simply because they were short-sighted and finite thinking and getting involved in this in the first place, because they should have considered the ramifications of being exposed, because that was an obvious possibility. So they should have considered that when they first took action to join the PRISM program, for example. And consider what would be the effect worldwide on their business if that got exposed. They didn't appear to do that, though.
The telcos and the ISPs.
Yes.
And there's some legislation in Congress right now, proposed in Congress, that would limit their liability?
Yes, I think there's a move afoot internally in Congress to have a portion of a bill modified to give the internet service providers retroactive immunity, just like they did the telecoms, because they were committing all those crimes and had so many class action lawsuits against them that they didn't think they could survive, so they had to give them retroactive immunity.
Because they had to know the type of access they were giving this program.
Yeah, the data and the access, yeah.
I found it interesting when you told me earlier that the government, specifically the NSA, doesn't even know what Snowden got.
Yeah, they don't, no.